Hello everybody. So I put my new door on. And stuck the fender back on it that was on it. And I want to try to show you something. If you see, that body line lines up, and that body line lines up. The bottom of the fender is down below the rocker. Also, there's a little bit of a curve to that fender from that body line to this body line. So if another lining up, it's bent in between them. Because we're smooth up here, we're not here. And we're smooth here and here, but again, we're not there. Now, I want you to try to see something, and I can't really get far enough back on this for you to see it. That fender, this part of the fender, is out. So it's like it's going in at an angle. The passenger side, the whole fender's out on this side just because it's not, the door's in just a little bit, but the fender, and you're going to have to take my word for this, I've done checked it, the front end's straight, the fenders are straight. There's no difference checking this. This piece of that fender is bent. So, instead of cutting on this fender, I know that it's got a lot of Bondo in it, and I know that it's got a lot of filler primer on it. And if you compare the curves, the body lines and stuff of this fender to that fender's sharper than this fender, and that door is sharper than this fender. So that tells me this fender's had a lot of body work done to it already. So instead of cutting on this one and making it fit the car and having to redo the body work anyway, I'm just going to use this. And it's probably in an old video of mine, but this is a spare fender for a car that Dad had. It's an original 67 Super Sport fender. Matter of fact, I took the trim off of it for my car. So it had a wheel well trim, it had an SS badge, it has remnants of the factory strap, has a little bit of rust back at the dog leg, but the main thing wrong with that fender is this is messed up some down through here. It's rolled back a little bit. This is rolled under. This is kinked. But the rest of the fender is a straight fender. If I'm going to have to make a fender fit right, it might as well be the one that I want on the car. So I'm going to put this one on the car. I figured I would attempt to show a little bit of straightening this. That was kinked. It's not now. The back edge of this fender, that's pretty straight. I've got to work from about here forward. So that's got to come up and out, kind of. So I'll show you a little more after I've gotten that part kind of straightened up a little. Alright, so I got this straight. I have a torch now, so I can heat just this little area up where it was rolled up into it and sharpen that line back down. But it's straight on the edges to about here. Now I've got to roll that edge back up. And what I'm going to do is make all that fit a fender extension as good as the fender that's on my car does, and make this straight with all this. After I've done this, I'll show you what that looks like, and I'll show you how I had to do it. First of all, I know that still looks rough, but you have to remember that this line kind of up through here was how far all this was rolled under. So I took a torch, that torch, and cut that brace off, and cut that brace off. Heated the metal and beat it back out, and then took a dolly and tried to get a little bit of a curve back into this, like this corner has some. It's a little bit of a curve over, so I tried to get that little bit of a curve into this. It fits the fender extension. This is straight, and I straightened the bottom of that a little bit. So now I'm going to put it on the car. I got to thinking, because it took me a little bit to get the fender on and everything, and it's really hard to get back far enough from this car in here for me to show you just how much better that fits than the other one. But I'm going to try. You can see door fits the quarter. You get up here, door fits the fender. And that looks good. That looks pretty good. You can see that's proud a tiny bit, but there was a rust patch here, and there was also a rust patch here. But I look at this as being good more than this, because as you can see, it's the same up through here. You get down here in the corner and it gets tight. I did this, so it's, probably not the best. That's the reason I'm changing those quarters. But it's also the reason that I wanted the door to be on the car as good as it could be before I changed the quarter, because I wanted to know the door was in the right place. You get here, this is not the door's fault or the fender's fault. This is 100% my fault. I put this rocker on this car from about right here where I busted the paint. Well, you can see it. It runs uphill a little bit, then right here it gets tight, and then it runs back downhill. Now I could fix this, but the back part of the rocker fits the door the way I want it to. And the gap down through here is pretty much the way I want it. So the only compromised area is that door is out over the rocker just a little bit right here. And it's out right here on the fender. But I got thinking about that. I've got to replace this piece of metal anyway, right? Why can't I just cut the rust out and overlap it just a little, so it's not flush with this one, it's out some, it can be out some, and that'll be more like it is here, down through here. It'll be a little bit further off at the rocker, but that's covered up by molding anyway. Also, you can see that this fender is even with the rocker. So this fender fits the car the way it should. And it's straight. So, and we're lined up here, but I don't have it bolted up, so we're lined up. You can see where I fixed that. I showed you that the fender's on, the door's on. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The next 67 video, this is going away. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again next time.